Welcome, everyone. Thanks for joining us for Toss Up Tuesdays. Like Frank said, we're excited to see all your faces. And after all the sessions he's ran for us, we're excited for him to see all of you too. So he can put some faces to the names he sees in the chat every time he joins us for. But yeah, you guys all know Frank, so I'm just going to turn it over to him and we're going to get rolling on tonight's session.
That's great. Thank you, Kiefer. Good evening, everyone. You really put a smile on my face because it's the first time that I get to see you. I've been doing this work with you on Facebook Live, and it was super fun. But now I see who I'm actually talking to. It's actually people. Hey, how about that? I'm actually working with some people. That's great. So I am going to get started shortly. I am Frank Vandenberg. I am a sports psych, mental performance consultant, mental trainer. I've been doing that work for, 23 years, like a long time. And I started off in the Netherlands, and then I came to Canada, to Calgary, Alberta, and I started working in sport here, which was great. And then in 2010, I started to work with Team Alberta, Special Olympics Alberta, and I've been working with Special Olympics Alberta since, on and off. I have to say, not every year, but many years. And I know some of you. I know some of your sports. I've been with some of your teams, so I'm really, really excited to be back. This is the third time that the third peak program that I'm with. Now, some of you have made all three. Some of you have made two. And at the beginning, I heard someone say, I believe it was Tara, it was the first time. So welcome, everyone. This is cool. I don't know how you feel about kind of getting into summer, longer days, warmer weather, maybe a little bit more outside. Hopefully we can get back into our sports. Everyone wants to do that. I'm not sure about you. I got my vaccination about a month ago, and so I'm halfway there. And I hope that some of you will get it as well, because I think it's what I hear. It's one of the best way to protect from illness and to be doing well. Now I see that the chat is already going, so I'm pulling that to the side and I say hi. So Alex received the first vaccination. Christy got her second dose last Monday. I did go to London, Ontario in 2010. So thank you for all of that. So keep the chat going. I can only look at it a little bit. But anyway, so glad to be back. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to share this time a few slides. And we're going to talk about a particular mental skill that is really helpful. A mental skill. And I'm going to explain about that. And we're going to do some work with that. Okay? So let's see if I can share my screen here. And first I have to put this up. Sometimes it's a little confusing how it all works with all this Zoom stuff, but now I can share my screen, and there we go. This is what you're supposed to be seeing. Give me a thumbs up if you're seeing it.
Looks good, Frank.
Thank you, Kiefer. Okay, I'll try to still see you. I put you on the side of my screen so I can still see many of you. That's awesome. So, Toss-Up Tuesdays. You know what? So far, I've been on Maximize Mondays. Do you guys know about Maximize Mondays? That's what I was. Hired for. But then I was put on Toss-Up Tuesdays. But you know what? That's what Toss-Up Tuesdays is about. We're tossing things up, right? We're just doing it a bit different. So instead of on Mondays, I'm on Tuesdays. So hope you don't mind. I don't for sure. And we're gonna do a little bit work around imagery. Now I'm gonna just put up your hand if you know what I mean before I've even started. What I mean with imagery, visualization. Have you ever heard about that before? Now, I know you can talk to me at this point, but maybe by just putting your hand up or putting a thumbs up in your screen, or excellent, thank you. So some of you actually know about it. Maybe some of you not as much, but we're going to do this session so it can help everyone. Okay, so here we can get started. Before we get into imagery, I would like you to know that in my work, okay, when it comes to our best performance in sport, whether it's softball or whether it's snowshoeing or bowling or athletics or soccer, when it comes to your best performance, there's a few things that we can work on a lot. And I numbered them. You can see them in the screen. Okay. Yeah, talent can be helpful. But you know what? I always say talent is never enough. You want to always show a little bit more. You want to show what you can do to show your talent. But the other 4 areas we can work on. Physical fitness. Do you know a thing or two about physical fitness? You guys do workout Wednesdays, don't you? That's about core and stability and dynamic movement and strength. So you're trying to work on your physical fitness. When you do your sport, you also want to improve your technical skills. That is how you throw a ball, how you throw a bowling ball, how you throw a baseball, how you get out of the blocks when you're sprinting on a track or when you're swimming, how you shoot the ball in floor hockey. Okay. And there may also be some tactics involved, like how do you want to run your race? Are you going to go all out from the start, or are you going to pace yourself a little bit? How are you going to play the game? What's the tactics? And then the 4th one is mental fitness. And that's where I come in. That's what I do for my work. I help athletes become fitter mentally. And you can see those 4 items as you see that picture of the little race car there. You can see those 4 as the tires on a race car. So physical fitness, skills, tactics, mental fitness are all a tire on a race car. And you probably know that a race car can only go well and fast if the tires are in good shape. And therefore, we also want to work on the mental fitness tire. And that's why I'm here tonight with you on Toss-Up Tuesdays, to work on one particular skill, which is imagery. Now, you may wonder, what does mental fitness mean? And I'm going to show you on this slide. Mental fitness is about what I say to myself, what I'm thinking, what I see in my mind, what I'm imagining, what I'm dreaming of, what I feel, how I feel. How can I get more of the good feelings and less of the bad feelings? And what I do, how I act, how I perform. That is basically mental fitness, the most simple way I can explain it. And this is what I tell everyone. This is what it's about. What are you thinking about? What are you saying to it? What are you seeing in your mind? And that's what we're going to focus on. What are you seeing in your mind? That's what imagery is about. So we'll get into that. Now, these things, what I say to myself, what I see, what I feel, are important before you get into your performance, when you are warming up, when you're getting ready. That is important as you are performing, as you are swimming, as you are racing, as you are playing. And that's also important afterwards. When you want to learn something from it, like what went well and what didn't go as well, what do I want to change, what do I want to improve? So it's important before, during, and also after your performance. Okay, now we're getting into imagery. Okay, I would like maybe for you to put in the chat if you can, and I'll keep an eye on the chat. The first question is, before we get into more of the work, is when do you think you can use imagery? When do you think this mental skill can be of help? When would you like to visualize or imagine something in your sport? And I think there's more than one answer. Before a race, every day. I like that. When to start a race? Anytime. Of course, you can visualize anytime. before a workout, before a walk, before I start bowling, and after. I like that Chrissy said also, and after. You can actually visualize after you've been training. You know, sometimes I'm not sure about you, but sometimes I need tricks to help myself fall asleep. And I happen to kind of, enjoy playing golf once in a while. And so after I've played a round of golf, I may put myself asleep by visualizing how I was playing golf. And usually when I start on the first hole, I'll be asleep by hole number 4. And so that is my little trick to help myself fall asleep. So when do you typically use imagery? A lot of athletes use it before you race, when you warm up, before you get into training or competition, but you can also use it after. Now, the next question, and you may want to put this in the chat as well. What can you imagine? What do you typically imagine? Like, what is it that you want to imagine in your mind? What are some examples? And we're going to work through some examples. So just put it in the chat. What would you be able to imagine? To win. Oh, that would be nice. You can definitely imagine to win. Anything again, for sure. You can imagine anything. That's pretty cool about imagery and visualization. Really, the sky is the limit there. You know, our imagination can go about everything. To have fun, to finish the race. I like that part. And when I ask you how would you want to finish the race? What would you want to have a good sprint at the end? Would you want to finish strong? Would you want to have a smile on your face when you're coming over the finish line? All of those examples, your own accomplishments, your own goals, we'll get into that as well. That's awesome. The finish line, you can imagine getting to the finish line. You can imagine getting an Olympic medal. Yes, everything is possible. Before I roll my first bowling ball, I imagine I can get a perfect strike with one throw of my ball, out of my bowling ball. That's a great imagery script. And there are so many more examples. You guys are really good. You know what I'm talking about. That's awesome. Okay, so let's move on. Let's get to it. The cool thing about imagery is it prepares your body. It prepares also your mind, and it prepares your performance. And why does it happen? Because if we're, applying some images, if we're visualizing, if we're kind of seeing it in our mind, actually we are activating the nervous system in our bodies as if we were executing the movements for real. We are not executing them for real. We're just sitting in a chair, or we're lying down, or we're standing up, and we're just visualizing, we're just imagining it. But our bodies and mind are being triggered in a similar way. I know some people that do imagery and visualization, and they do it so vividly, so clear, that their body starts twitching because their muscles and their nerves are kind of fired. And so it's really something that prepares the same parts of our brain, of our body, of our nervous system that we would use in our normal performance. And I just put some simple pictures on the screen here about how you can visualize that nervous system flowing through our body. So you can see that if we're imagining it, what we're doing in sport, so as good as possible, that it will actually send those tiny little signals down our spine into our body, and we're preparing the same muscle groups. Okay. Now, the last thing I want to tell you before we're getting into some practice here is that there's two qualities that I believe are super important. And that is, first is clarity. When you imagine, when you visualize, you want to make it vivid. You want to make it a sharp image. You want to use all of your senses. Now, probably there's 5 senses. Is that right? 5 senses? One is hearing, one is seeing, one is tasting, one is smelling, and one is touch. Is that right? And so we can use these senses to make the image as sharp, as clear as possible. And that's where I use this term. We want to imagine as real as it gets. Does that make sense to you? Yeah, good. Now, the second quality in good imagery is what I call controllability. And that is that you actually can imagine and visualize with ease and accuracy. So you're very accurate. You're doing it right. If you're visualizing or imagining, like, you don't want to visualize doing it wrong, do you? No, you want to visualize doing it right. You want to actually do the right thing, not only on the court, not only in the water, not only on the track. You want to also do it right in your mind. Okay. And that's what I call controllability. So as clear as real as it gets, and doing it right. Those are two qualities that I think are super important. And so that's what we're going to work with. Okay. So I'm going to run a practice with you right now. This is a warm-up for imagery. Now, sometimes you warm up your bodies, don't you? You go for a run. You're making the blood flow. You're going for a stretch. You're making your bodies warm up and get ready, right? Now, we're going to do the same for imagery. So we're going to do an exercise that warms up our senses, okay? And afterwards, I'm going to ask you for how you liked it, okay? So I'm going to stop sharing here. That's it. And you're coming back into my screen here. I see all of you. There's 3 pages of you. I have to kind of, hi Andrew. Hi Erica. Who else is there? Hi Kim. Hi Ren. Who else is there? Wyatt, it's good to see you. I knew you were there before, but now I can see you. Who else is there? Laura, good to see you as well. So I have stopped sharing. We're going to do an exercise, and you are muted. We're going to keep you on mute for now, okay? And I would like you to follow me along. We're going to do a little bit of what I call an imagery script, which means that I'm going to give you some suggestions about what you can imagine in your mind, okay? And we're going to use our senses. I'm going to ask you to imagine as real as it gets and as accurate as you doing it right, okay? And afterwards, we're going to talk a little bit about it. You can tell me what worked and what didn't. That's okay. Okay. Now, I would like you, just like me, to kind of sit back a little bit in your chair, and preferably with your kind of feet on the ground. And why I'm asking you to do this, because we can do the best imagery when we're a little bit relaxed, when we're a little bit calm. Now, I know that you've learned a lot about how you can relax, how you can become calm. And one way we're doing this is with centering on your chair while you're sitting, and also using your breath. And you probably have done this quite a few times so far. So we're going to do it again just to get into the imagery. You can close your eyes or you can keep your eyes open, whatever you prefer, okay? But I would like you to start shifting your attention to your body that is supported by the chair. I would like you to shift your attention to your feet that are supported by the floor. I would like you to shift your attention to your head that is supported by your neck. And just notice how your whole body feels supported as you're sitting comfortably. And then turn into your breathing. Just shift your attention to your breath. Don't change it, just make it easy. Just notice how you inhale, how you exhale, and again, how you inhale, how you exhale. And I would like you to see if you can pay attention to the rhythm in your breath. I believe the rhythm is important. So make it easy and slow and rhythmic. Take a little time for the in-breath to come all the way in, and take a little time for the out-breath to come all the way out. Now, as you're feeling a little bit calmer and more relaxed by just easy, smooth, rhythmic breathing, I want you to imagine seeing a beautiful sunset. I want you to imagine seeing the face of a good friend. I want you to imagine seeing a piece of your sport equipment. And I want you to imagine seeing yourself in your room, on the floor or chair on Workout Wednesdays. Just imagine. And we're going to go on, but first tune back into your breathing. Just notice that calm, easy, smooth rhythm again. As you inhale and as you exhale. And this time, I would like you to imagine hearing the sound of a cracking thunder. I want you to imagine hearing the sounds of birds chirping or singing. I want you to imagine hearing the sound of your own voice. And finally, I'd like you to imagine hearing rain against the window. Maybe very subtle, and go back into your breathing. We're going to do a little more. Go and just notice. Take time for your in-breath to come all the way in, and take time for your out-breath to come all the way out. And this time, I want you to imagine feeling the touch of an apple when you hold it in your hand. Imagine feeling the water when you're taking a nice warm shower. I want you to imagine feeling the touch of running on grass. And go back into your breathing again. We're going to do one more section. So just notice a nice smooth rhythm in your breath as you inhale and as you exhale. And this time, I would like you to imagine smelling the fresh air on a winter day. I want you to imagine smelling freshly baked cookies. I want you to imagine tasting sweat. I want you to imagine tasting a refreshing drink. Okay, this is the end of the exercise. You can open your eyes. And I'm going to check in with you. I'm going to see if you're still awake, if you're still with me, and what you thought of this imagery warm-up exercise. Darby has his thumbs up. You must have liked it. And Preston as well. That's cool. Sarah as well. So a quick question. I have a couple of questions. The first question is, what really stood out for you? What was really clear in your mind, what you were able to imagine? Maybe one example was more clear, more accurate, more vivid than another one. So just put it in the chat and just let me know what you thought was clear and vivid, that stood out. You know, for some it may be the apple, for some it may be the birds, as I can read. Maybe it was the thunder. Yeah, that's okay. I mean, we can imagine hearing a thunder, not the thunder for another person. The birds, yes. Were you smell of cookies, of course. I got a light headache. Okay, sorry for that. The water in the shower, okay. Anyone the apple holding an apple in the hand? Could you imagine that? Could you feel the touch of the apple in your hand? Excellent. I just wanted to wake up your senses that we can imagine these things in very clear ways. And that is actually very helpful, you know. If we're thinking about our performance and what what we're going to work with from Workout Wednesdays, we really want to pay attention to what we feel, what we see, what we hear, sometimes what we smell. You think there's a smell in a pool for when you're swimming? Of course there is, right? So there is a little bit of senses involved. Now I know that Madison and Preston have their hands up, so why don't you come unmute yourself and ask me a question? Preston, you go first, or Madison?
I can go first.
Yeah, sure.
I actually imagine this bookworm. It actually helps me stay focused and stay active. I'm a huge golfer, so I imagine the from the golf course. I imagine run. I will
Yes.
hit my target straight
Yes.
ahead in the
Yes.
fairway. I will not
Yes.
get myself in trouble. So
that's a great example, Madison. You can actually imagine hitting your target, and I think that's a really good example about how you can use it in sport. When you think, what sport do you do, Madison?
I play golf and soccer.
Soccer. So you can imagine how you pass the ball, how you shoot the ball, how you dribble the ball. You can even imagine how you may score a goal. And so this is all possible in our imagination. That's a great example. Can I give maybe one more person an opportunity? Jordan, do you have something to offer? What was clear in your imagery? What worked for you?
It works for me is staying strong and working hard so we don't get hurt.
And Jordan, can you see yourself doing that? Can you imagine yourself working hard and staying strong?
Yes, we have to stay healthy.
Excellent.
And not get ourselves hurt.
That's great.
Exercise.
Very, very good. And maybe one more person. Can I pick on Danielle? Danielle, you had your hand up as well. What do you want to offer? What works really for you in your imagery script?
For me, I actually do 10-pin bowling, golf, and soccer. I've just started soccer this year. So what really helps me is to imagine like passing the ball to my friends or throwing a goal.
That's exactly it. That's super. That's great. And so you use imagery already. That is great, Danielle. Thanks for letting us know. Now we can only
from London.
Right. That's right. I remember. So this is great because we've heard from 3 people with 3 different options that you can use your imagination. So you have all these options. Maybe I'm going to give Tara. You have your hand up twice, so I'm gonna ask you to unmute yourself. What works for you in imagery? You're muted, Tara. There you go.
Drinking, like, get good sleep and get exercise and drink lots of water.
Yeah, that's what I do, and that's important too. Was there one example that I was working through in this little imagery exercise that was super clear for you?
Like, I was like it made me feel kind of sleepy.
Okay, you had a relaxing effect. That's okay.
Yes, and then getting a strike in bowling.
you visualize you got a strike in bowling. That's beautiful.
Yes.
That's great. Now, Preston was having his hand up from the beginning, so I'm going to end off with Preston for this round. Preston, what do you have to offer here?
Sometimes I visualize I can hit the softball to see where it goes. Sometimes figure it goes, and sometimes I figure out when I play basketball, figure out how to focus on the net, and you can get the basket.
Right, so you're gonna focus where the ball can go, and sometimes
Yeah.
it's far. And you say baseball or basketball?
Baseball, softball.
Baseball. Can you also visualize doing a ground stroke?
What's that?
You know ground stroke, when you hit the ball over the ground instead of through the air?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can do all kinds of things. So yeah, see the ball go and see the
Yeah.
ball go far. That's a great example.
Yeah. Thank
Good.
you.
So we're going to continue a little bit, and then we're going to do another exercise, and then we're going to have another round. Okay. Thank you so much. This is great. It's awesome. So let me organize this again. We're talking Zoom. It's always difficult. So this is on share screen. We should be back in business right now. Good. Okay. So we did a warm-up exercise, and we're going to work a little bit more through imagery. And there's maybe 3 things that I want to point out that we can actually use in our imagery. There's more, but I want to keep it a little bit more straightforward and just point out 3. First of all, we can think about skill, how we want to execute our skill, like hitting the baseball and seeing the baseball go far, like Preston said. So it can also be how you jump off the block in swimming. It can also be how you want to finish strong, focus on the finish line. Actually, that's the next one. That's the goal that we're going to talk about. And the third option that we have is talk a little bit about how we can imagine feeling. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about that, and we're going to practice a little bit. So first, about skill. Obviously, when you're training, when you're with your team, when you're on the floor, when you're in workout Wednesdays, you are working on skills. You are working on technique all the time. Skills and technique is one of those things that you want to practice, because that's what you want to execute when you're racing or when you're competing. Now, sometimes, we always want to do those skills well. But you probably agree with me. Sometimes we don't do them well, and then we have to make corrections. Do you sometimes get corrections from your coaches, or some instructions about how you should do it different? Yes. And so we get those corrections to do it better or to do it differently, and we can actually visualize corrections. How about that? Now, I say pre-post. What I mean is we can visualize our skills before we execute, but also after we execute. And most people visualize or imagine skills before, but I've learned that after you've done a really good job, throwing the ball in the training, in your rep, in your repetition, in your set, that visualizing the same thing afterwards works just as well, because the memory is so fresh. You may have actually a little bit of muscle memory. So why wouldn't you imagine right after you've done something well, when you have some time? And then it says repeat, because training and mental training is obviously, you want to do it once more, do it over again, do it many times before you get really good at it, or really, really smooth at it. So that's what we want to think about imagery, using imagery as well. Okay. So let's get into a next practice. Okay. We're going to start off in the same way. I'm just going to stop the screen again, so I can see you. I can see you. I can work with you. I can keep track of you. That's okay. I'll put you on a different screen. There's so many. That's great. So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to start with a little bit of relaxation, because we can imagine better when we're in a more relaxed state. So that's what we're going to start with again. You already know how it works. We're going to do that again. And then I'm going to ask you to imagine different drills and skills from Workout Wednesdays. Now, just by a show of hands, who has been part of Workout Wednesdays? Most of you? All of you? Most of you. That's great. Workout Wednesdays. Now, I watched the sessions with Coach Marie, Coach, I think Brittany, and Coach Lois from the last several weeks. So I have a bit of a feeling about what you've been working on. And we're going to use some of the same skills in our imagery work, in our imagery practice. So maybe you remember some of those exercises. And you may laugh because I may not call them all the right names, but I hope you know what I mean. So take a breath and notice how you're resting on your chair. Maybe put both of your feet on the floor and feel how your feet are resting on the floor. And just notice how your whole body is resting. And tune into that easy breathing that we did earlier. Just making it smooth and comfortable and rhythmic. The key to rhythm is time. So give yourself a little time for the in-breath to come all the way in, and give yourself a little time for the out-breath to come all the way out. And one more cycle. Just notice as you inhale and notice as you exhale. And at this time that you're starting to feel a little calmer and relaxed, I would like you to imagine from the warming up in Workout Wednesdays, a tabletop position that you're doing on the floor. Both knees and hands on the floor, sturdy and solid, just as a tabletop. And then I'd like you to imagine starting to activate your core and glutes by doing a glute bridge. Just imagine lying on your back and you're pushing your body up, feet and shoulders on the floor, and making this bridge, and hold it for just 5 seconds. Just imagine that. And finally, in your warm-up, I would like you to imagine activating your adductors, basically squeezing your legs together, maybe with a pillow in between, and just notice kind of the tension and the strength in your legs as you're squeezing those legs. And go back to your breathing. Just notice how it's smooth and rhythmic. Just enjoy and relax. And now you're going to imagine some little bit more dynamic mobility by doing a single leg raise. You know, basically lying flat on your back and raising a leg straight up. And then imagining raising your other leg. And you can put them back on the floor. And at this time, I'd like you to imagine, I think, what they call mountain climbers. As you're making a straight plank, you know, on your elbows or on your hands and on your feet, and you raise your knees one after another, as if you're climbing this mountain. And you can let go, and we're going to go to the next in your mind by doing leg swings. And you're probably doing this standing. So swing your legs forward while you're keeping balance. As you're looking forward, just imagine doing this right. And the last exercise I would like you to imagine, and this is a simple, straightforward squat. Try to imagine doing a squat as you're supposed to do it. And do it again, a second time, in your mind. And finally, do it a third more time. And you can open your eyes and you can, this is the end of this exercise. And I am just wondering who was able to visualize some of these exercises that you've been working on with Workout Wednesdays. You must have done them before, so you probably know what they were. So Kim, you raise your hand. You were able to imagine some of those exercises? That's great. Jessica has a thumbs up, so I believe you were able to visualize some of these exercises. You know, we're just all getting used to how we can use the real exercises to imagine it in our mind, doing it well. And I think that, I think she's called Baker, younger sister. You have your hand up. Hi. You were able to visualize well. You were getting into some of those exercises that you were familiar with in your mind.
Yeah, actually, you know what? It's almost the same way when I'm doing my my physio, like a glute bridges, like ACLR. Those things are actually good because I feel like all the muscle coming into a lot of hip abductors and elbow abductors, everything.
So that sounds great, Baker, younger sister. I'm not sure if that's your real name, but
No,
Baker,
actually, my
younger
name is
sister.
Johanna.
Johanna, that's all right. So this is great because you are trying to get the senses in the exercise. You're trying to feel it. You're trying to not only see it for yourself, but also feel it. I really like that. Really good.
Thanks.
And I have Laura, you have your hand up. I'm not sure if that is for now or for later, but were you able to visualize some of those exercises?
Yes, I did visualize the exercises. I do like doing the Workout Wednesdays because they do help us lose weight
Yes.
and stuff.
So that sounds really good, Laura, and it sounds maybe weird. Why would we visualize these exercises? What is that good for, you think? Do you know?
Well, it's good that we can see what we need to improve in.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it's lots of seeing and I guess hearing as well.
That's right. And you know
You
what?
hear the instruction.
You hear the instructions and you want to work with the instruction and you want to not only execute that, but maybe also think about it or see it in your mind how you would do that. And the other reason why I'm using these exercises from Workout Wednesdays is to just get into the practice. Because if you're starting to visualize better, now you can use it in your own sports as well, whether it's soccer, swimming, all of that. So I'm going to end with a couple more slides, and then we're going to open it up for Q&A. And I'm going to give you the passcode for this week, Toss Up Tuesdays. The passcode. You're waiting for the passcode? You get some points for with the passcode? Okay, it's coming up. Stay tuned. Okay, excellent. So let me go back to where I was. And we're just going to end it up. There we go. Share screen. There we go. Okay, so this is what we've just done. So we went over skill. Remember, I'm going to go back. We went over skill imagery. This is what you're working on all the time, like in Workout Wednesdays, or when you're doing your own sports and you're working with the corrections and you can see them in your mind. So that is one way you can use imagery. The other cool thing about imagery, and I've heard you put it in the chat, is actually visualizing achieving your goal, making it to the finish strong. How about making it to the peak? Can you imagine that? You're kind of halfway, aren't you, on your trek, you know? You're probably somewhere halfway in the mountains, halfway up one mountain, halfway up down another mountain, and you're on your way to that ultimate peak. And so that's what you also can keep in your mind, what you can focus on, what you can visualize. What is the outcome that you're looking for? Someone said winning. Well, why wouldn't you want to visualize that? But that's maybe not the only thing that you can visualize. You can also, what I call the process. Okay, how do you use your equipment? What's your tactical plan? How are you going to play the game? Where are you going to put the ball? Where are you going to pass the ball to? Maybe you have some real good physical assets, some quality. Maybe you have great jump, or you're fast, or you're very accurate. Okay, maybe that's what you can use. And then the last piece is, okay, let's make it simple. What's your main focus? What's the one thing that you would want to focus on? Why wouldn't you just simply imagine that? And what I like about that is that you kind of forget about everything else except that one thing that is most important. So that's what I call main focus, the most important one almost. And then the last thing that I'd like to kind of let you know is that we can even imagine feeling. The way we feel, our mood, our energy levels, our arousal, if we're very excited, maybe if we're nervous. Well, maybe if that's not the best, can you actually visualize calming yourself, taking it down a notch, changing that high energy level to something that is a little bit more appropriate? I'm thirsty. I'm going to take a... So it's not only about skill or the goal that we want to set. We can actually think about ourselves. Okay, this is important. You know, this is my day of competition. I'm a little nervous. I'm not sure what's going on, but can I actually see myself calming myself down? So that's another thing that we could maybe visualize about. And then finally, I would like to let you know that you can use, as I said so many times before, you can use imagery at practice, before and after your games, before and after your races, before to get ready and after to enjoy. Because if you did something well, why wouldn't you want to dream about it, daydream about it, think about it, imagine it again? Just like I said, you know, I enjoy seeing myself play golf to make me feel good and make me fall asleep. And something I noticed already is you want to use the 5 senses, okay? But I think the feeling part can be really important. Like, can we feel in a good place, in a good shape? Can we feel relaxed? Can we feel loose? Can we feel that the energy is there? And, you know, maybe you have your favorite, and that's fine. But I always encourage athletes to maybe have two or three different imagery exercises. So maybe one for warm up, one for strength, one for skill, one for goal, something like that. So 2 or 3 different ones. So you don't always have to do the same one. So this is where I'm going to stop sharing again, and I'm going to open it up for some questions. I'm going to give you the passcode in a minute here. There's many hands up. I haven't heard from Alex yet. Alex, I welcome you to mute yourself and either ask me a question or tell me what you like. Tell me what works for you.
Sure. So I used to do a workout before the coach is impacted.
Yes.
So I did an exercise like cardio, and just ran on the treadmill. And then after I did weights, I just do a cool down to do some stretches to prevent some injuries.
Right. And you do all those exercises to get mostly physically ready, or are you using them also to get yourself kind of mentally ready?
Because we were forced to work from home, and we're gonna do some workout at home.
Yeah, that's great to hear. I hope you can use this imagery skill as well in your next stretches and warm-ups. Thank you, Alex. I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Someone I haven't heard from yet is Miranda, and you have your hand up. Miranda, is there something you want to ask or something you want to share?
So I have a question for you, Frank.
Yes.
First of all, it's nice to meet you because I'm brand new.
Hi, Miranda. Nice to meet you as well.
So how long have you been a motivational speaker for?
For about 23 years, and I started as a rookie 23 years ago. Can I tell you that I didn't know what I was talking about, but I pretended to, and that worked out because now I think I do know what I'm talking about, and I'm still doing the work. So I really enjoy working with athletes and motivate them to do the right things. My own sports, Miranda, were track and field athletics. I was a jumper and a hurdler. Do you know about that?
I do. I was in athletics. Now I'm in bowling, and I'm the ambassador for Strathcona County in 2023 in the winter.
Excellent. Games. That's great to hear. I am so glad to meet you. I hope you enjoyed this session and you learned a couple of things. Carla Walsh has her hand up for a long time, and you must getting tired. So I'm gonna put it over to you, Carla. Thank you, Miranda. Appreciate it.
Hi, Frank.
Hi, Carla.
Good. My question is, I really like the sections, and I'm so glad you are hosting me again because I did this with you. I think very relaxing, and the imagination is the calming down. Is my dog calm me down and stuff like that.
Excellent.
And it's helped me.
That's so great to hear.
Yeah.
That's so great to hear, Carla. I really appreciate the feedback. I really appreciate that you're letting me know. I really appreciate that you do well with this, that it has a great effect. And I encourage you, Carla, maybe to do it a couple more times, maybe without me, but maybe you can listen to this recording again and do it once more.
Yeah.
Because I believe that if you do it a few more times, you actually get better at it.
Yep. Thank you.
Excellent. Appreciate it. You're welcome. Now I'm going to go over to one more question, and I'm going to show you the passcode, and then there is maybe a time for a few more questions. How about that? Who have I not heard about before? I think Jordan I have not heard about. Is that right? Jordan McLeod?
Okay, with this session tonight is really helping me because I sometimes not visualize anything in like my world games. I got a little bit nervous, like stuff like that before like a type of a competition, and I sometimes get butterflies in my stomach a little bit. Do you know how I can not get those?
Yes, I can. First of all, it's good that you notice that obviously the butterflies are there. That's for most people not hard to it's hard to miss. But you know what? And we're talking about imagery. Can you imagine butterflies to fly away?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's just one way of looking at it. Just maybe not all of the butterflies, maybe half of the butterflies. Would that be already a good start?
Yeah.
And what I'm saying is that a little bit of nerves is okay. A lot of nerves is maybe not okay. So if you can let half of the butterflies kind of go and fly away, maybe that helps. And what you can do is just a little bit what we've been doing before, is just to help yourself calm down a little bit with some breathing, with lying down or sitting. Maybe imagine something fun in your sport. When I'm talking about fun in your sport, What do you like about what sport do you do, Jordan?
I do swimming and bowling, but mostly swimming.
And what do
Especially.
you like? What do you like most about swimming?
I don't know much, but I came in second place and first place in my team relay event, and then I came in
Nice.
second place in my 200-meter backstroke.
So you've been doing quite well. You know what? And I'm asking you what is most fun in your sport, because sometimes it puts a smile on our face. Do you like to be in the water?
Yes.
Do you like to dive into the water?
Yes.
Do you like to swim fast in the water?
Yes.
And so as I'm asking you these things, you're starting to have a little bit of a smile on your face. And you know what happens? Some of those stresses and some of those nerves are starting to evaporate, because now we're offsetting that. We're putting something else in place, which is much more about something we like. Now, I hope that helps you for now, but you know what? I'll be back one more time at the end of this program, and we can chat a little bit more. So who wants to know the passcode? Okay. Do you have pen and paper ready? Okay, here we go. I'm going to put it on the screen. I hope you can read it. What is it? It's white wolf. I think we're in the theme of animals here, so we're definitely talking about wolves, but this particular one is white. So we've been completing almost an hour here together. I hope you don't get bored of me. I hope you're not falling asleep. It's awesome to see all of you. Everyone got the passcode?
Yeah, thank you, Frank, for sharing the passcode with all of us. We're all super thankful for you joining us tonight. If you have time, I think we do have 3 or 4 people who we didn't get to, and then we can wrap it up for the night. What do you think?
Sounds good to me. I'm not going anywhere. So let's have a few more questions.
All right.
Or experiences, like who like doing imagery. So I'm gonna go with Kiefer. Who should we?
We haven't gone to Jessica yet. We'll go to Jessica.
Okay. Jessica, where are you?
Hello, Frank.
I'm trying to find you. I think if you speak, I can see you.
Hello, Frank.
Oh, there you are, Jessica. Thanks very much.
How are you doing?
I'm doing good. I have fun here. I have a great time here doing this this with you. How are you?
Good. I remember you from London, Ontario, for sure.
What sport were you doing back then?
Swimming.
That's what I thought. I was thinking hard, and probably it was swimming. So are you still swimming?
Yes, I am.
Are you using imagery for your swimming?
Yes, I do. And during that session when you were saying birds, imaging about birds, there were some birds in my background.
Yes, that's right. So that's cool. You know what? I hope that you can. I'm not sure. You probably haven't been swimming a lot for a long time, but I hope you can get back in the pool at some time and keep swimming again. Just keep imagining that, Jessica. Just keep seeing it.
Yep. Thanks for being here, Frank.
Yeah, you're welcome. That's great.
Awesome.
Matthew, you have your hand up. I see that. What do you want to tell me or ask me or share with me?
I want to share visualization. I really like teleworked. And also I had a question about visualization. Does eating help visualization?
Can you ask the question one more time?
Oh, sure. Does eating help improve visualization?
You're talking about eating? Eating?
Yeah.
Yes. Well, you know what? You know where visualization takes place? It takes place in your brain, Matthew. In your brain, that's where you visualize. And you know what your brain needs? Nutrition.
Nutrition, right? Yes.
Nutrition and oxygen. So that's what your brain needs. So yeah, the right nutrition, good hydration, and nice breathing, nice easy breathing, the type of breathing we have practiced, that's what your brain works best on. Do you remember what we did?
Yes, I did. It was
Okay.
awesome.
Yeah, okay, practice a couple more times. That's awesome. Kiefer,
All
can
right.
you let me know who's next? Matthew, thanks so much. I appreciate that.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah, for sure. I see Leonka's had her hand up here for a while, so
Hey,
we can go to Leonka.
Hello, Frank.
Hi.
I remember you from London, Ontario.
Wow. That's awesome. And you're still active, hey Leonka. You're
Yeah.
still going.
Yeah. And
Excellent. Have you switched sports?
Yes, I do floor hockey, track, and bocce now.
Wow. You're
And
busy then.
I don't visualize how hard I work. I visualize working as a team and helping my fellow athletes.
Excellent.
And
I haven't even mentioned that, but yes, you can actually visualize how you do it together. And how you do it in floor hockey, right?
Yes.
Or in bocce, it's also together, right?
Yeah. And
that's awesome. Yeah, go ahead.
And thank you very much for a great session. I quite enjoyed it.
Good, great to hear. And just like I said to others, Leonka, if you remember some of this mental skill as in imagery, just keep practicing it. It's a great skill.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you for coming out.
You have time for one more, Frank?
Oh, yeah.
All right. Laura Hill has had her hand up for a very long time.
Hey, Laura.
Hello. So, what I found with all the exercises tonight, it really helped me stay calm, because I've been stressed at work lately. So just doing those calming exercises with my eyes closed, just imagining being back at bowling and seeing all my friends again. Oh, it just made me feel good.
Oh, nice to hear. I'm so happy to hear that, Laura. And you know what? I know that it's easier when I'm here and I can actually read a script and you can just follow along and it's kind of easier that way.
Yeah.
I know. But at the same time, if you can practice some of this every day a little bit, for example, every day you come home from work, just to change back into your home, take a couple of breaths, imagine a nice evening, it really helps settle everything a little bit. So
I also put some music on too, and it really helped.
That's cool. Excellent. Thanks for letting me know.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Now I'm gonna scroll through all your Zoom boxes. There's just too many. I see Erica. How long have you been having your hand up? A long time. You want to ask me a last question before we wrap up?
I work and I work at the daycare for 24 years.
24.
24 years. And thank you so much for helping me calm down, and because I'm a little bit stressed out too. And
yeah.
And I could do that. I could do the workout, like the breathing.
Yeah. You know what? I always say it's always nice to have me guide you through that. But you know what? Everyone has their breath always with them. And so if you know a couple of things about how you manage that, you can use it anytime you want. It's not always easy, but just keep doing it. It's really healthy.
It's good for me. And I do sports too. I do cross country skiing.
Yes.
And I won 3 medals. I went to Team Alberta, Thunder Bay.
Nice.
I won 2 silvers and a bronze.
Great to hear. That's so awesome.
And I do
Can you
athletics
still,
too.
and you still cherish that moment? I see it on your face. You still like it.
I do.
Yeah,
Thank
no,
you.
that's great.
Thank you, Frank, for the section, and
Yeah.
I liked it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Awesome. Well, Frank, we just all want to say we really appreciate you coming on. I know you do multiple sessions every peak, but I think I see it every time. Everyone's growing and learning from each of the sessions. So thank you from all of us. And if you do have questions, Frank will be back. So hold on to your questions and ask, and we can ask them in the Facebook group, and maybe we'll send them his way so that we can answer some of them in the next session.
Have a great evening, everyone. Have a great week. You know, hit your targets, stay well, stay active, and we're going to meet up again. Take care, everyone. So great to see you.